YouTube, welcome back to my spiritual experience with your host, Brother Sadiq. Today, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about spirituality, of course, but sometimes spirituality is pressing because it is a part of your everyday experience and your everyday life. And so today, as in yesterday, if you caught yesterday's video, I talked a lot about the urgency in the atmosphere of of America and possibly the world. So the concern today, and I don't, like I said, I don't ever mean to be an alarmist, but when Spirit says for you to speak on a thing, it is that is which is most important. And so today, that is what this is, as inspired to speak on this subject. So today, we're going to talk about some of the challenges of walking a spiritual path. Um, it can be daunting in many ways, and so it is not for the weak. It is not for those who are soon to fold. Okay, um, you are challenged. You are challenged because you live in a world that is not geared towards the things that you think are valuable or the things that you recognize as most valuable. So, never denying that the earth and the place that we live and the matrix that we have to navigate are a part of the game of life. But when you're trying to maintain your spiritual balance and to move and to live and to interact with everyone, every soul, every aspect of your life from the perspective of your recognition of spirit, uh, it can be a daunting task because there is the reality of the matrix in itself and the fact that we live in this matrix. And the fact that we do live in this matrix, we have to navigate it. And in that navigation, we often have to weigh our movements based on the spiritual cost and effect of what we're doing, and the social construct of how things are expected to go. And so you have a you have an internal conflict sometimes, and there is also the fact that there is a certain knowing that you have about what is to come. I study prophecy, and so it's not like I am just excessively wise or that I have visions of the future or premonitions of things like that. But you know, there is the intention to recognize that the deepest parts of yourself are highly related to things that are not directly related to the matrix. And if they are related to the matrix, they are generally designed or geared towards what you can change that you see is not correct, that you see is not universally beneficial to the souls that are being affected by it. So I have a knowledge that each one of us are really a part of a most high source, whether you call it the Great Spirit, whether you call it God, whether you call it Jah, Allah. It matters not. Jehovah, Yahweh. It matters not what you call it. It is the source that birthed life into all of us through a thought and breathed life into our lungs by a breath, vibrating your being into existence. And so I know at the core of us, we have a magnificent light that is wonderful, that is transformative of ourselves, of our environment, of our world, of you know, the entire presence of our being on the planet. We have the ability to affect every soul that we see or meet in a positive way or in a negative way. And for me, it's not even a matter of choosing to be one of those who looks at the opportunity to do anything negative. There is no benefit in that for me. And so my goal is always to be positive. And sometimes I have to consider who I'm being positive towards, or who I'm interacting with in relation to how my nature is. So I have a very giving nature. I like I said, I love people, and I want us all to reach our fullest potential. I want us all to win, and so I am quick to be a help, and I am sometimes maybe overly helpful. Sometimes people need to have struggle in order to learn, and that in itself can be a challenge in navigating. Just being a kind, open soul who wants to help because you see someone going through a thing that you think you may be able to help them with, but as of yet, they're not willing to take your guidance or your direction or your suggestions. And so you have to watch them go through things, and it causes you sometimes an emotional attachment that can bring you down a little bit. And so these are all things that you have to navigate, trying to be the positive, spiritually inclined, loving soul that emanates love and light and goodness and care and share to everybody that you meet. Right? That is the goal for me anyway. Right? I'm just talking about my own personal desire and how I move. Right? I'd love to be a light to everybody who I see. And so yeah, there is that. But in this world that we're in now, it is such we live in such a distorted time that so many are geared towards selfishness. And even in the idea of that selfishness being a form of self protection, and what is that, the first rule of survival is what is it, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I understand how there is a sense of selfishness to how most of us are moving, as the way that we've been trained to think and see the world. Yeah, it's a rough place to navigate sometime. And you feel emotion towards the sadness, towards recognizing that there are so many people who have no idea that they have this connection to higher ideals and higher principles. And so they live and they navigate based on what they can get and how they can get it. And sometimes that, it's not always righteous. And by that rule, it causes stress and struggle and confusion and chaos in their lives and in the lives of the people around them. And you know, I've been guilty of this myself. I mean, we're none of us are perfect. On the way to where we're to where I am, I was who I was, and I had to travel my own path and make my own mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And the thing about those mistakes is, when you learn from them, or do you learn from them, or do you deny that you have mistakes? Do you see yourself as perfect? These are the things that you have to weigh, attempting to walk a spiritual path, right? So, recognizing that we're all made of love and light, and these positive things that, if you look around, life is about abundance, right? Nature says that life is about abundance, but we've been trained in this matrix to believe that we have to grind hard for everything that we get. But nature says different, you know and we can balance ourselves sometimes just by finding the rhythm of nature, right? And I've said this on so many videos on my other channel. It's It's called Deep Speak with Brother Sadiq. I don't really know how to make my videos extremely exciting to make, all of these digital effects and sound effects that make people want to watch your video. But if you have a desire to understand how you can begin to mold and understand your own spirituality, then those videos are, I think, very vital and good help. I think there's a great amount of help in that. And so today, like I said, I feel there's an urgency in that, people who are attempting to get on this path of spirituality, whether it be through religion or through, whatever other form of positive light filled, love filled spirituality, that is about the unity of all, then I can help you with that. And so, where I am, I'll just tell you in my own, this moment for me is about being transparent about, what's going on in the world and even with myself. Like I said, my whole path has been about learning these spiritual qualities and attempting to live by them and practice them and see how they create the life that you end up with. So the thing that I am challenged with at this very moment is financial, because what I've done in practice and exercise and education, is great for what I can teach, what I can share, what I can do about, my own spiritual development and helpfully help others with. That is the goal. But what I also recognize about, my, I guess you could say, denial or disdain or, resistance of the matrix is that I never patterned myself after any of the things that would get me money. So, yeah, I was the guy who, I guess you could say, in a sense, I was the guy, who I talked about yesterday, the you sitting on the mountain getting the wisdom, but now it's time to come down from the mountain and share that wisdom with the people, right? Okay, so that's wonderful. And that's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm intended to do. I'm excited about it, and I love that idea. But I also recognize that, I've never really chased the financial aspect of the matrix or any other financial, foundation that I was really concerned with. You know what I mean? So it was like my vision and perspective of life was, I am a poor righteous teacher, right? This is if I'm, like I said, I'm 51 years old, so that is a throwback term for those who studied, um, different aspects of our history, our culture, our spiritual relationships to the earth and to Great Spirit, universe, God, etc. And so, generally speaking, that was the theme and the idea of, who we were. And so I considered myself to be one of those. And in understanding now that our mindset, our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about whatever we see in the world as, your perception is your reality, right? Right. And so being a poor righteous teacher will make you a poor righteous teacher. And in the times that we live in, what I understand is that, most people aren't really getting wisdom or looking to study wisdom from, uh, someone who is, not a financial, expression of abundance. And I don't blame them, right? I don't blame them. It's something that I just, like I said, I woke up to, at a point in my life. You know what I'm saying? At a point in my life, I woke up to the fact that, wow, yeah, okay, I never really worked on that aspect. Though I have lots of knowledge of spirituality and how to, understand things and relate things and transform from the higher levels to, the basic man on the street. Now it is time to, by example, right? Prove through my spirituality abundance. So, Yeah, that is so this is what I mean. And the challenges of the spiritual path, right? So this is what I recognize as one of my bigger challenges at this point in my life, right? Is that that's something I never did. I never considered myself to be worried about money. Like it was not an aspect of my life that I considered as, oh yeah, let me constantly be, it was like a disgusting thing to me. I'm gonna just be honest. It was like something that I had turned into a level of personal disdain because of the way I seen people act around money, transform, treat other people, change relationships, flip instantly because of a financial benefit on someone who had been loyal to them. Not me personally, just other scenarios that I've seen this play out in life where money was the motivating, and so there was a disgust to a degree for me with money, and it wasn't something that I was fully conscious of until as of late, right? And maybe this last year. And so I just want to share this because these are some of the challenges of the spiritual path. And so I think it's just fair and honest for me as a host of a show speaking about spirituality and, as I said, sharing my own path to give you insights onto who I am. And so I am the father of four sons, and I had to go to every one of my sons and I had to ask them. This probably all happened in the last year. How do you feel like I did? I did my best, though that's not really what is relevant when it comes to their opinion of what I did or how I did it or how my effect in their life affected them, transformed them, molded them, or not. Right? Was I good? Was I not? I had to do this, and I think this is something that everyone should do. And I'm not saying, if I'm gonna be honest, if you don't have the depth of humility to be willing to listen to what they may say, don't do it. Okay. I'm just gonna be real. If you don't have the depth of humility within yourself to be able to accept someone telling you that you are not who you thought you were, or you did not do what you thought you did, or that you fell short of your own intentions, or you know what I mean? You finna find out some real direct reality from those who you raised. All of my sons are grown men now. My youngest son is graduating from, university this year. So, of those four young men, I had to go to all of them and ask them directly, like, you know, give me an assessment. Right? Give me an assessment of what you think as a man. You're all men now, and I have to respect whatever you say my effect in your life was. Right? So, this is what I mean about the challenges of spirituality. So, if you're not willing to bring yourself um, to account, bring yourself to be accepting of what is it called, critical positive criticism, whatever, however you want to term it, but the idea of listening to your children whom you've raised criticize your efforts, criticize your effect in their life. I think that is extremely important for the bond between fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's something I did. I didn't do it because it was something I read in the book. It was something that was in my spirit. I guess it's probably part of me aging, right? Getting older, and you're just like, man, how did I do? Because like I said, this all runs together, right? This entire conversation, what I'm talking about, the money and my youth, my children, right? My four seeds, my sons, my progeny. Yeah, that's what it was about, because I realized, wow, I didn't do the money thing. And so I wonder how that affected them. And then listening to them explain to me each what they did, it was okay. Okay. It was okay, because what I taught them was about the invisible characteristics of what a man is, right? About dignity and honor and respect and justice, love, truth, peace, freedom. You know what I mean? These invisible qualities that are what I understood and learned as the true qualities and characteristics of what a man is. So, with that being said, I have 4 sons who I am completely proud of. You know, none of us are perfect, and so there are challenges, and that is a part of life. And how you handle those challenges and how you bounce back from those challenges is what determines your character as a man, and your own self-confidence and your own self-worth and your own value. So I am content with what I did, and they are content with who I made them, and the perspective of life that I gave them. For me, I think being a father, a parent, is about, okay, things, yeah, of course you have to be a provider, but more importantly than even being a provider is giving your child a reference of perspective of how to see this world. You, as a parent, in my opinion, first duty is to mold the mind of your child so that they can see the world correctly, so that they have a solid, sound perspective of how to move in this world once they're out of your presence. And so that is what I think is most valuable. I didn't buy every one of my sons a car when they turned 16. I didn't help a lot with a lot of things. I looked at myself and I asked them how that affected them, and they weren't affected in the weight of what I felt that I might have neglected. You understand what I mean? And so I think that's something that we should do, because it may lift that weight from you, but it also gives you a clear perspective of how to heal these relationships if there are broken lines, right? If there are, detachments and missing eras of energy that should be transferred from parent to child. And if you don't delve in to discover these things, then you'll never know what or why or how you could have been better. And so, because that's something I think that is extremely important, something that I've learned from, many, people talk about religion as though religion has no sense of spirituality in it. And I totally disagree. I think for people who are really seeking a spiritual experience, which I fully understand why you would want a spiritual experience, because it validates your own personal relationship with spirit. So I understand that fully. But when you read um, the texts of you know monotheistic religion, and not even no, not even, I won't even say monotheistic religion, because you know there are though that is a terminology, okay? And so ultimately, when you talk to different, so you talk about, oh, there's like all of these gods in Hinduism, et cetera, et cetera. There are 99 names of Allah in Islam. So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about aspects of the great creator? I believe so. And so whether you want to divide things out and continue to separate us, versus taking the wisdom of studying these things and seeing where they're all linked and associated. That's what the brain is. Your brain is a tool that is it's an associative organ. So the more things that you put in your brain, the more you study, they begin to align, and you get those, oh wow, okay, this and that means this together. Oh, remember, and then do it over here, and then all of that comes together. That's the aha moments, the light bulb moment. And so that's why I'm always, I'm not bragging because I don't really have a social life, but I feel really happy with the amount of things that I know that I think will be helpful as I encounter different souls on my path of life. So I'm content with my path. There are things that I wish I could change. Of course, I don't have a perfect life, but uh, that's the process of life, right? That is the beauty of utilizing your imagination to transform your life, right? You have to see your life in your imagination, sometimes in meditation, in prayer, right? That's what that is. You're praying about something you're wanting, desiring, hoping for in the future, and utilizing your imagination to envision what that is exactly will probably help bring that into reality quicker, right? So these are just things that science and spirituality are coming together, and they're studying meditation, prayer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I believe like I said, we're in a beautiful time, and it's just a matter of what you want to look at. Yeah, there are wars, there's chaos, there's tragedy, there's sadness, there's discontentment, there is division, there is everything on that side. But on the other side, you have a full plate just the same way. It's just a matter of how you want to look at this. So if you want to be a part of that world that is to come, then yeah, I think it's very important to struggle and fight against whatever it is in the matrix that you have to struggle and fight against to stay in balance with your spiritual self. It's a very hard thing to do because no one is training you how to do that. You know, my understanding is that back in the day, when these spiritual giants and these educational and these giants like Einstein and Descartes and all of these different people who we give praise to for their wisdom, whether it be scientific, spiritual, educational, however we give praise to these intellectual giants of our past, right? Fact of the matter is they didn't have all the distractions that we have. We have television, we have chemtrails, we have an entire world in our phone that we don't have to have anyone in our family agree with us anymore. We got 1,000 people in our phone who already say, yeah, we're already right. So we have more division. We have so many things that are distracting us from utilizing our imagination and our mind for its highest capability. And I just wanted to share a few of my own personal struggles with the spiritual path, right? My financial struggle, right? And everyone doesn't walk your path, and so you have to understand, you have to accept how your engagement with other people based on your beliefs about life and your reality affect them, and you have to be responsible to some degree for that. And so because it's all based in love, you don't want to offend anyone because you're really just offending yourself. You don't want to hurt anyone, you don't want to kill anyone. We're one soul, we're one spirit, we're one great part of life that is blown into us. We're all an individual idea that the creator said, hey, it's his time to be here, it's her time to be here, let me blow this life into him. And we got into this matrix, and when we got into this matrix, it was full of chaos. And so we had to navigate, we had to survive, we had to protect ourselves. And we threw all of these layers and covers and protective mindsets and different energetics in front of us as layers of protection from the matrix. And so living from that most authentic, truest part of yourself can be very hard in these times. And so that is the challenge. And that's all I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, I believe we all have these challenges. And I think it's like I said, it's time that we break all of the mystery off of our spirituality, and then we make it more every day, and we make it plain, and we make it common, and we make it something I can talk about at the water cooler, as they say. Right? All right. So, I love you. I do. I know it sounds cliche, but I do. I love humanity. I love our potential. I love the potential of the human soul. I understand that man is so valuable, and education is the thing that brings out the highest gifts of his spirit and his soul and his ability to produce it in the world. So I intend to produce abundance because I want to give it away. I want to share it with the world. I want to love you all. So yeah, that's it. Just a rant today, and hopefully I'll be back talking to you very shortly. I love you, like I said. Once again, all roads lead to spirit. So please share my videos and come back and hang out with your boy. I think it's necessary that we get this all regular. Like I said, I think this should be a regular interaction, a regular conversation, and something that we can make a part of maybe dinner conversation, even. I'm tired of us hiding our spiritual self. It is who we are. It is ultimately what we'd love to be able to expose and express to the world. But the fact of the matter is, hardly any of us are comfortable being and expressing our true selves because the world is full of judgment, and the people you grew up around want to see you be who you were versus who you really are. So, once again, I love you. I've been there. Let's get forward, and all roads lead to spirit. One love.